Hi, I'm Little Jimmy's Worry. You're just in time. The kid just bit it on his scooter, and now we're headed to urgent care. This is a worry's time to shine. What if it gets infected? What if it swells as big as a house? What if they gotta give you a robot leg? Wait, Children's Wisconsin? What? They won't let me in. This is outrageous. You can't do this to me. Turn around. Turn around.
Children's Wisconsin Urgent Care is made for kids, which means fewer worries for everyone. Go to childrenswi.org/urgent care today.
Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
John Hunter Nemechek is a knob, and I don't care what anybody says.
What a way to start.
Welcome to the program, everybody. On this beautiful Sunday morning, as we get ready to race for the first time on the new repave at Atlanta. Todd Bailing in Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my three partners, starting with Ed Kaluka of West Bend, Wisconsin. How you doing today, Eddie?
Good. One time at Milwaukee Mile, Dominic Dufresne said, I'm going to put some money on that kid. Ask him if you'd like $5,000 to put a name on the car. I went over and I said, hey, how'd you like $5,000 to put Dominic Dufresne cranes on the car? No, it takes 10. Oh, really? I didn't know you were that good. Goodbye.
Who was he?
John Hunter Nemechek.
Oh, I'll be darned. And Dan Margetta of St. Francis, USA. How you doing, man?
Good morning. Are we at Atlanta or are we at Daytona or Talladega?
Yeah,
exactly.
No kidding.
Exactly.
Brian Schmidt of Ootsburg, Wisconsin. Answer the question, man.
Yeah, I was very skeptical of this type of racing and what they did to this track, thinking this might screw this track up forever and it'll be terrible. But the two races yesterday were pretty good. And, you know, if the drivers don't like it and they're agitated all day, that means it might be better for the fans. And that looks like what we might have here.
And that was NASCAR's logic when they were saying, how come you didn't check with the drivers to see if they would approve of the way you configured this track with narrow turns and wide straightaways? I guess they didn't care about NASCAR drivers' input, right, Brian?
No, and I mean, if you look at Atlanta, Atlanta's a track that has had troubles getting people to come there and watch. It hasn't been full. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's been full since Quickie won the title there in the 90s. So, you know, if you have a spectacular race today and you had two pretty good races yesterday, you may be able to fill that place up in the future. It may become a destination race to go to like the restrictor plate races. So they may be onto something here. We'll see how it goes today.
Yeah, we will definitely see. And, of course, we had a truck race and an Xfinity race yesterday. Both of them turned out to be pretty good events, but of course, the chassis is going to be a little bit different this time. Corey Heim won the truck race. Thanks to John Hunter Nemechek, who at 2 laps down got himself in between himself and anybody else that he didn't care for, apparently, and made sure that Corey Heim won the race, which relegated Ty Majeski to third, who actually had a shot to win the thing if it hadn't been for John Hunter Nemechek. And Derek Kraus had a pretty damn good race again and finished in the top 10, finishing 9th. Then they ran the Xfinity race, and I would say future star, but this kid is already a star. Ty Gibbs, the future of Gibbs Racing, won it over Ryan Sieg. Geez, that would be a wonderful topic, wouldn't it? Who is Ty Gibbs going to replace eventually at Gibbs Motorsports? Is it going to be Hamlin or Truex, who are both in their 40s? Rowdy, who's 37 but losing his sponsor after this year? Or Christopher Bell, the least accomplished of the group and the guy who finds a way to the back every week, and he's only 28 years old with a huge upside? My God, it's a great thing. If you call the program today, you can give us your opinion on that one. Who will Ty Gibbs replace over there?
Right now,
I would.
I don't know. Truex doesn't seem like he wants to be there every week. Maybe he, gets tired of doing this. I'd say maybe him. But aside from Truex, how about Kyle Busch? They're losing those.
Yeah, Candyman's going away.
I mean, there's no M&Ms anymore. And now you're going to say, oh, Kyle Busch wins. How can you replace Kyle Busch? Matt Kenseth won too, and it didn't matter.
It didn't matter one tiny little bit. And, of course, Kyle Busch is, they got to put up with a lot of drama with Kyle Busch, but the sponsors seem to like him. But if you lose sponsors, what's left? He isn't winning lately, if you haven't noticed.
They also have to come up with funding for Ty Gibbs. That's the other thing. If you're going to move Ty Gibbs up, you need to have a sponsor that's willing to put the money forward for it. I mean, if you remember last year, 3/4 of his ARCA races last year were run with a car with nothing on it.
The money is there to do that, just like it is with the Haas cars.
Oh, Grandpa's money.
Does he want to do that? He'd rather probably have somebody who has money on his car.
So his grandson, you bet he would.
Yeah, that's a fact. Well, it's a great topic. We can, if you'd like to throw that in with any comments you might have about the great world of NASCAR, you can do that at 414-421-7901 today, and we would love to take your opinion on anything having to do in the world of racing. Last week, they raced out here in Phoenix. Chase Briscoe wins his first race. How about that? Reddick finishes second. Chastain finishes third. Dan, you were about to tell me before the show that when was the last time the top three had never won a race before?
Saw it online, so I'm going to go off of things I've seen online. So I hope this is accurate. But it was the last time that we had three cars in the top three that didn't have a win was 1969 at Talladega. All the drivers went on strike.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and that was Petty's 40 car that won that thing, right, with Hamilton?
No, it was Richard Brickhouse. Was the one.
Brickhouse. That's
it's the race that all the drivers weren't going to run at Talladega because they didn't think it was safe, and they all kind of sat out and they filled the field with a bunch of Grand American cars and everything.
The first attempt at a union. That didn't work out too well. That's interesting. Ricky Stenhouse is fastest in happy hour. Kyle Busch was second fastest. A couple of It's been a Toyota weekend. Corey Heim was in a Toyota. Ty Gibbs in a Toyota. I mean, then Christopher Bell third. Boy, is this the day that Gibbs busts through and the Toyotas win all three major races? It very possibly could happen.
Think about it. The last Toyota win was Bubba Wallace at Talladega last fall.
Wow.
Not a Gibbs car.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it was a Gibbs satellite. How's that?
Hey, since that time, since Bubba's win, we've had 10 straight winners now under 30.
Oh, my.
So I guess
first-time winners. A bunch of them.
First-timers. Yeah. How about that? Yeah.
Thank you.
Things are changing. It's the new chassis. It did, every note they had for all their cup cars and all their race trucks, they had to throw them out, start from scratch, new cars, drivers not sure how to get around tracks. Now we got a new repave today at Atlanta. Wow. This is going to be interesting. Once again, we're going to see one of these first timers possibly today. Look at it. All that work you've done and all that experience you have, or will it be Kyle Busch and just put that all to rest?
No, I don't think you put all the rest. It's going to be a very interesting day. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, he has done a wonderful job getting this thing turned around, and the racing certainly is watchable now. The ratings on television are up. Fans at the racetrack is up. Things are looking good. NASCAR seems to have turned the corner in no small part to Ben Kennedy, the next generation of Francis, as he will be the future of this sport, and he's done pretty decently with it so far.
Daughter of the sister. Son of the sister.
Son of the granddaughter.
Sister. Oh, really?
Well, his mom is Brian's sister, right?
Well, that's what I meant. Son of the sister.
Well, if we were talking about Brian, where's Brian these days? Gosh, it's like he just fell off the edge of the earth, isn't it?
Yeah, he's sitting on that bridge. Still sitting on that bridge, snorting his cocaine.
Oh, come on, Ed. You don't really think. Never mind. Once again, if you'd like to participate as we head for a break, our first break, the number to call is 414-421-7901. Let's rev her up and get going.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years, PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Elkhart Lakes Road America this 4th of July weekend. The NASCAR Quick Trip 250, presented by Jockey Made in America, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series Henry 180 guarantees high-speed thrill and endless family fun. Enjoy the family fun zone, camping on site, and free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
This is The Herd.
The winner in this is also
Colin Cowherd.
7 losing seasons in 9 years. If Yankees, Red Sox, 7 losing seasons in 9 years, what would you say? Some issues upstairs. It can't all be coaching because you would have fired multiple coaches. It can't be all players because you'd have moved off players in 9 years. Kobe and LeBron, biggest brand easily. Does anybody want to talk about that?
This is The Herd.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back to LTN. Glad you could join us as we get ready to race at Atlanta today. The big news this week was something I had never heard of before, Garage 56. Anyone ever heard of Garage 56 before they announced yesterday that they're going to start running Cup cars at Le Mans? I guess there's going to be a Hendrick car going to run in Le Mans. I'm not French. We always called it Le Mans. And if you don't mind, I'm going to continue to call it that. They're going to run a Cup car in this Garage 56, which turns out I had to do some research to figure out exactly what it means. It's like a rule. It's a special single entry class reserved for innovative cars and allows for the testing of new technology and fostering of creativity and innovation without taking a spot in the traditional starting grid. There you go.
It's kind of how the Delta Wing ran Le Mans a while ago under the same classification. Remember that Delta Wing car was kind of radical, and that ran out there? It was the same kind of deal.
Chad Knaus is going to head up the program. That sounds good. They're going to have a Cup car. It's going to be a highly modified Cup car. However, who's going to drive it? You can't. It happens during the Cup season, right?
Yeah, and this is in 2023 also, mind you, not this coming Le Mans. This is 2023.
Okay.
So you got about a year and 3 months to figure it out. So, no, but it's an interesting way to do it. A 24-hour race or doing any sort of prototype sports car type thing is not something you can just put together and not know how it's going to work, because you can't go and test for 24 hours to see how it works. So this is what they've done. A few years back, they did this hypercar thing. that the Toyotas and a couple of the other classes have, and they filled that garage spot years ago to see how that worked. So this is an interesting way to do it. I think, when NASCAR put this car together, everybody said it was like a road race car, and that was what it was built for. I guess we're gonna take it to Le Mans, see if it really is, and it'd be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Brian, I got a name for you. How about this to drive that car? Jeff Gordon. Why not?
Oh, absolutely. Jimmy Johnson.
Drivers.
Why not?
Maybe, Jimmy Johnson. Well, that'd be something, huh? Gordon and Johnson team up. You got to go 24 hours. What do they go? 4 hours, 3 hours at a time?
Oh, they do stints.
It would depend on what power unit they allow.
Oh.
Will it be a 1,000 horsepower V8, or will it be a scaled down version, or will it be a new electric hybrid?
Oh goodness, they got to they got to figure all that out between now and 2023. It's not like they don't have enough time. However, this is a Cup car, and that's right. We could have our own rules, right, and put a big engine in the thing and let it really go.
You know who also likes the road race and used to work at Hendrick, and now he lives up here in our neighborhood? Ron Malik.
Ron Malik. Put Ron Malik in the Le Mans car. Why not? He has.
How many drivers do they have? 4?
3 to 4. Usually 4 for that one.
Okay. Yeah, it's a 24-hour race, obviously, and so interesting. I never, of course, it's because I don't follow road course racing as closely as oval racing. Why I don't know about things like Garage 56, but it's in France and it's in the middle of summer, right?
Yeah, it's in usually June. Last year it was run a lot later because of the COVID stuff, but it'll be back to its traditional June date. Is it Father's Day weekend, maybe? Somewhere around there, I think it is. But yeah, that's a big deal over there. I mean, that's bigger than any road race you see in this side of the ocean. That is massive. It's an 8-mile circuit, so it's a long way around.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well,
Brian, the only hope for Todd is?
What's
that?
That
would be good.
He never liked dirt either. Now it's how he found a new love for it since he moved to Phoenix. Maybe someday he might honor the fact that we love road racing.
And move to France.
This will maybe do it for him. You get a cup car running in that division even,
Yeah. That is true, Ed. I never really liked dirt racing before, and I kind of like it now, Imagine.
Ed, put Kenseth in that car, he'll be on 100%.
Oh, God, yes. He loved road racing. Wow.
Yeah. Matt Kenseth in a road race. Think about that. Maybe not so much. Once again, the number in case you'd like to participate, 414-421-7901. We will race. Qualifying got rained out, so they had to go on this criteria to put the lineup together. Chase Briscoe starts on the pole. For him to be there, we took 35% of the weight for the criteria from the owner's points. Then we have 25% weighted for the owner's final race position. I don't even know what the hell that means.
Sabermetrics.
Then it's 25% of the finish from last race and 15% of the fastest lap from the last race. So Chase Briscoe, after winning his first race last week at Phoenix, will start from the pole today on this track and absolutely should be one of the cars in it all day long.
I guarantee you one thing.
That
the guys at the Boone Hill Saloon didn't have that idea at all.
No, they wouldn't have.
It takes a lot of napkins, Ed. They probably don't have enough napkins to come up with that.
A lot of napkins. They don't know about criteria for, starting fields. It used to be just rain. Go on points.
How about Chase Briscoe with that one? I mean, is there a guy out there that's more deserving than that? I mean, the way he came up, the old school way. I mean, he didn't really come up with a lot of money behind him at all, really. If you know the backstory behind him and how many times he was probably gone and shouldn't have been in the sport anymore, he moved
in his car.
Right. Lived on a couch, on some guy's couch for a couple years and gave up. Pretty much gave up. Was driving back to Indiana. Called his mom. Was actually bawling on the phone, saying, "I'm done. I can't do this anymore." Gets a call to go do an ARCA test for that Cunningham team. Goes to the test. The test is not good. He doesn't have a good test at all. They kind of feel bad for him because they didn't give him 100% effort. They say, "Okay, you can run 2 races for us this year." He finishes 10th and he finishes 5th. Well, that's not great. Didn't set the world on fire. They got 2 cars there. Kyle Weatherman is the driver that's been there a while. Briscoe would be the second guy. They think, well, Weatherman's probably going to get the car because he's been here long enough. They call Kyle Weatherman up. Now, here's how the story goes. It hasn't been 100% confirmed, but apparently Kyle Weatherman says, I'm out having pizza with my mom. I'll call you back. Well, guess what? We're not getting another call. Chase Briscoe's going to drive this car. They go out there. They win the ARCA championship. He still does good. He gets up to the Xfinity race. He's done, actually, in 2020. I think after 2019, they were done. I mean, they had no funding. They're going to shut that team down. They don't know what he's going to do. His dad's out in Vegas at the SEMA show. Some stranger stops him for his Chase Briscoe hat. Hey, I like Chase Briscoe. I'm a fan. Well, he's my kid. And he ain't going to race unless he's got some sponsorship. Oh, really? Well, I'm the CEO of this High Point internet company. Suddenly he's a sponsor and he gets going. I mean, just ways to keep him going has been crazy, and it's cool to see him get that win.
And if you will remember the story, there's another part of it that was just fantastic, which we will share with you right after these.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
It'll be here before you know it. America's National Park of Speed, Road America, has a thrilling, jam-packed race season coming May through September. Vintage racing, IndyCar, NASCAR, and more. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
It doesn't matter if you win. If the Broncos go on a playoff run and win, and even if they lose in the Super Bowl, a year from now we're all going, it was worth it.
Worth it.
Was it 100%. Not? It was 100% worth it.
It seemed like it was the perfect timing, and actually, I don't think any team lost in this trade.
Brady Quinn, LeVar Arrington, Jonas Knox. Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
Weekday mornings after 5 a.m. on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back. Glad to have you tuned in with us here on the Big 920. Yes, okay, so the deal goes, Briscoe had been sleeping in his car, sleeping on couches, working for either nothing, next to nothing. They'd bring pizzas in so he could eat. After he finally got going a little bit and got a ride and started getting a little income, he thought it was safe to go get married. And so he and his wife got pregnant, and if you will remember, it was 2 years ago. He was racing at Darlington in the Xfinity Series in a late race duel, an absolute duel with Kyle Busch, and he beat Busch at the line and got out and sat on the track and bawled his eyes out because, and we hadn't realized that the day before his wife had had a miscarriage, and he beat Kyle Busch at Darlington. It was one of the greatest stories I've ever seen. I'll tell you something. It's hard not to root for a guy like Chase Briscoe. He's as great a story as we have in American sports.
And he's the nicest guy in that grid. I mean, right, Brian? I mean,
oh yeah.
At that time in Indianapolis, they had to get him to go in a car and go to practice. And I'm like, he felt bad about telling us he had to leave. I'm like, well, dude, you got to drive this car. If we're holding you up, walk away from us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's the most down-to-earth guy. Last year he came to Plymouth and did that sprint car special there, and then the race is over, and I'm walking through the pit area, and I walked by and chatted with him for the longest time, and that's when I found out, you know, here he is, a Cup driver, a rookie in the Cup Series, and I said, so, you know, you staying at the track? He goes, no, I'm staying at a hotel in Fond du Lac. So he stayed in Fond du Lac the whole time, and he still doesn't have a big motor coach. I mean, he had a breakdown of his trailer this year on his way to Daytona, so he's. And I mean, even last year in Phoenix, we're in Phoenix for the fall race, and I'm walking by, and he even recognized us. Hey, how you doing? How's things in Wisconsin? Glad to see you're here. So he's the most approachable, down to earth guy you're ever gonna meet. So that was a great story to see him finally pick up that win. And no matter what, they'll never be able to take that away from him. He's
you're right.
Guy to win a Cup race.
How about that's a pretty neat statistic right there. But if you think that that's Chase Briscoe's last Cup win, then you haven't been paying close attention. All it was his first one, and you're going to see him. In fact, you're going to see more this year. And speaking of which, Tyler Reddick is ready to bust the door down himself. Isn't it kind of cool to not be talking about who's going to win, Kyle Busch or Harvick, and all of a sudden it's Chase Briscoe or Reddick, or how about the watermelon farmer Chastain? These are names that we hadn't heard running up front and having shots to win on a weekly basis, and yet all of a sudden the new car has changed all of that. It's a different dynamic all of a sudden, isn't it?
Chastain and that Trackhouse Racing, where'd they come from? Suddenly they're up on top.
And how the hell did they get better than 2311 Racing? You got the Wallace and Kurt Busch versus Chastain and Suarez, and Trackhouse is doing a better job. Not just that, that's a toy. The 2311 is a fully supported Gibbs satellite Toyota team, and who exactly is? I mean, I don't know if we realize that they took over Cheap Chips operation and got his charters and all that sort of thing. In fact, he got one of his drivers too, because Chastain had been driving the other car. But how did they get so far ahead of a Gibbs operation?
They spent their money on engineering and people rather than tennis shoes.
Tennis shoes? I don't know. It's pretty. And even with that said, remember, Bubba Wallace did win a race last year, and Kurt Busch could win a race at any time. He's got the experience, and it will more than likely be a really perfect piece to that puzzle before the season is over. At
Brian got it.
So I didn't get it. It has to do something with no, I don't. I'm not even going to guess. You tell me later, I guess.
That Trackhouse team last year, they were a Richard Childress team. Their entire operation was in a Childress shop.
Well, therein lies the problem.
They're right alongside the Childress operation. Now they moved to their own, but if you notice, I mean, the Childress cars are a lot better this year. Like,
oh yeah,
they should have won. Reddick should have won that race at California, and it seems like the Chevrolet cars. That team seemed to be just a little bit farther ahead than the Toyota cars this year, and that's showing because the Trackhouse team is a Chevrolet team and is able to run consistently near the front, where the Toyota teams are struggling.
You got that right, Brian.
Yeah, isn't that something? And I think it's been motivation for the next generation of Childress grandchildren too, because all of a sudden you've got Reddick in that car who has set the bar pretty high, and the whole operation looks as though it's been picked up again, using this new car with younger drivers. You guys were talking before the show when we were talking about how guys with dirt experience might be better in these cars, huh?
Yes.
It seems that way. It seems like they're hard to drive, and you got to learn how to hustle a car to make this thing work and still drive it fast. And that's just what I've seen so far this year is that, they're not stuck to the ground like they used to be, and you actually have to hustle a car through the corner, which is what a dirt car really is, right? You got to get up on either on a cushion or on the bottom, but you got to know how
They were brought up with 4 laps of hot laps. And now you got to read the racetrack. You get about 4 or 5 laps of hot laps, go qualify, and then race.
Imagine.
That's exactly what Chase Briscoe said in his post-race press conference last week. He said that the reason the dirt guys are doing better, you're only getting 15 minutes practice. They had a little more this week, but usually you're getting 15 minutes of practice. He goes, everywhere he's raced his entire life, you get, 2 or 3 or 4 hot laps, and you got to figure out what's going on with the car, and you don't have much time to do it. It's just like they have there, because you only have about 15 minutes before you got to turn around and qualify, and you got to be able to figure out where your car is, read the track, read what it is, and tell your crew chief what you need to do, and get that in the car, and then get on the track and do it. And he goes, this format is kind of going back to old school for him. This is what Chase was saying. He says, and that's why he feels much more comfortable in this versus the hours and hours of practice where you can actually dial yourself out.
Imagine It's kind of like a new generation of drivers. It certainly is a new generation of race car. And Atlanta, we've got a new racetrack. The pavement did not pass inspection from the drivers. We don't like this place. Well, why don't they like this place? Well, no, but first of all, nobody checked with the drivers. Remember all that hoolah last year when, you'd think they would care enough about the drivers to check with us. Dan, what's the formula there?
There's only one place to find the most recognized brand in carpet, Stainmaster, and that's at Lowe's. Right now, get free basic installation with the purchase of Stainmaster carpet and pad, $4.99 or more. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Install available in-store only. Requires non-refundable site assessment fee. Fee is credited to final project price if bought through Lowe's. More charges may apply. Not available in all areas. See Lowe's.com for details, exclusions, and licensure. Valid 2/19 through 4/13. U.S. only.
My fellow worries. We all love making kids worry. Yesterday, this 4-year-old had pink eye. I had her worried she was going to give it to all her dolls. But then her mom took her to Children's Wisconsin Urgent Care. They won't even let worries in.
This Children's Wisconsin No Worries is getting out of control.
If kids don't worry, then what? They're just happy?
Children's Wisconsin Urgent Care is made for kids, which means fewer worries for everyone. Walk in or schedule an appointment at childrenswi.org/urgentcare.
I don't know. I mean, it's. I don't know.
It's kind of like if a driver is happy with a racetrack, the racing isn't all that great, right?
Right, and then you got to find the fine line, I guess, because I mean, there's a fine line between good racing and total chaos too. I mean, sometimes. Nobody likes driving in the packs at Daytona. The fans love it, and it's great to watch in the grandstand. But from the driver's standpoint, well, I don't want to be stuck in this mess all the time thinking I'm going to get wrecked any second. So you got to somehow find a happy medium there, I think. You got to have good racing and total chaos is a fine line between them.
It's a very fine line. We'll be back. Hang in there.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Elkhart Lakes Road America this 4th of July weekend. The NASCAR Quick Trip 250, presented by Jockey Made in America, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series Henry 180 guarantees high-speed thrill and endless family fun. Enjoy the family fun zone, camping on site, and free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
This is The Herd.
The winner in this is also
Colin Cowherd.
The NFC North is an absolute mess. But this morning, I still think Green Bay has a decent shot, 10-1 odds to the Super Bowl. Chicago's in a rebuild. Detroit's got a goofy coach. Minnesota has a rookie coach. Who would the Packers face in the playoffs next year in the NFC? That they'd be an underdog to.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Again, today's race will be televised nationally on Fox. There will be, obviously, as they do every week, some pre-race programming, but the green flag is at 2:17 Central Time today, so middle of the afternoon. So
and if you're out and about in the Sheboygan area around Elkhart Lake, remember our friends at Road America have those things at the bars. You can go watch the watch parties going on. And here from Atlanta next week at Coda, Richmond, and Bristol the next 4 weeks. Meets Opera House in St. Nazianz, Racers Hall and Charcoal Grill at Plymouth, Champ Sports Bar and Grill in Sheboygan, Butch and Ann's Pine Grove and Elkhart Lake, and the Linebacker Sports Bar in Manitowoc. Remember, you go there, you can watch the race, you get entries, you can win some Road America apparel, and I think the grand prize is some tickets to events.
Pretty cool idea.
Oh, yeah. It's up in Bryant's neighborhood, isn't it?
Yeah.
All
I've been to several of
places
those establishments.
All right. Hey, we always like hearing rumors on this program, as you're aware by now, but we heard one this week, and your ears perk up a little bit when you hear the Milwaukee Mile mentioned, because we all love the place. We all hate to see that it's sitting there mostly unused, and we would love to have a race there. And all of a sudden, we hear a whisper about Indy cars again. Where did that rumor come from, boys?
Well, IndyCar is racing in Texas this week, and evidently they're not bringing out the red carpet for the IndyCar folks of Texas. If you see any of the tweets or any of the information that's coming there, I mean, it's like, all right, we'll open the doors for you. Here you go. Just race. There's like no promotion of it. I saw a tweet that said, the big Haas, the big screen on the back, it's got light bulbs out, and it's a mess. They're not promoting it all. So it really sounds like Texas is going to be done, and they ain't going to go back there again. So IndyCar needs to come up with places to race if they want an oval race. They have issues when they race with the ISC tracks. That goes back to years ago when they ran a truck race along with IndyCar at Kansas, and the truck race was the headliner. That really irritated IndyCar. They aren't dealing with ISC anymore. They tried to run a Richmond race. That never happened because of the pandemic, and they didn't decide to go back there. SMI are the other tracks. The only short oval they have is up in New Hampshire. They don't get anybody to show up in New Hampshire. So you're really down to just a handful of tracks around the country that you could actually go to on an oval, one of them being Iowa. Iowa's going to host that doubleheader this year. Hy-Vee put up a bunch of money for it. They're basically renting the track from NASCAR, and they're going to run a doubleheader race there starting this year. The Milwaukee Mile is the other one that sits here. Isn't associated with anything NASCAR. They just got to find a promoter for it. So the rumor out there is that IndyCar's looking to try to find a way to come back here. How they piece that together, I don't know. But the fact that you see racing there again, and you had a pretty successful events last year with the super late model race and the ARCA race, and the ARCA race actually did pretty well, even though the weather was kind of poor for the start of that race, leads you to believe maybe there's some legitimacy to this, and this is something that could happen in the future.
Brian, you and I and Ed and Dan all agree one thing. If we get another IndyCar race at the Milwaukee Mile, that place has got to fill up. There's no more excuses.
Everybody talks about wanting to come here, but when the chips are down and it happens, nobody seems to show up lately. And then you have to work on ticket pricing and all that kind of stuff, plus scheduling. I mean, you have a really successful event, IndyCar event in Road America, that will go on. We ran Road America and the Milwaukee Mile in the same season for years. As long as you have those races not close to each other, maybe put Milwaukee in the fall, and then not have it coincide with a bunch of other racing stuff around here. The race fans got a lot of options around here to do it. So I think scheduling and then ticket prices are the big thing to get people to show up, especially ticket prices. And they may have a board at the Fair Park now that'll actually work with racers, whereas in the past it was kind of iffy if it was that.
Yeah, you can't be charging people, $90, to sit in the grandstands like a hot dog on a roller at Quick Trip in 90-degree weather. You just can't do that. And that's the ticket prices were a little outlandish back when Andretti was running it. They're really high. I mean, people are willing to pay, $40, $50 to see races, and $50 to see an IndyCar race wouldn't be a bad deal. There's a lot of rumors out there. The one that everybody thinks may be the most obvious one would be Bob Sargent. But would Bob Sargent want to? I mean, this is stepping outside his comfort zone to promote an IndyCar race. And I know a few years back, I talked to Robin Miller at Road America about it, and he goes, "That would be a perfect, perfect pairing. Bob Sargent is an Indy guy. Pair him with IndyCar, but the price has to be right." But it was always one of those deals where who needs it more? Does IndyCar need Milwaukee more than Milwaukee needs IndyCar? I think that's where we're at now. Before when it was they weren't really interested in it and he wanted to do it, the price goes up. Now, if IndyCar is desperate and really needs a place to race, the price is going to come down, and you're going to come to a level where someone can afford to promote the race there. And I think that might be where we're at now.
And the State Fair Board for years always controlled the concession stands, and that's something that's got to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to be able to make money where it is. Yeah, it's funny, Brian, you were saying about how Texas seems to have taken a dive. It's not any coincidence whatsoever that former Miller Brewing Company racing head Eddie Gossage, who was the president of that track for 20 years, has just retired, and it's already swirling around, before it gets flushed. Well, I mean, it's amazing to me that Speedway Motorsports is not putting the right people to get the job done down there in Texas, because it's a major track, and there's no excuses for that place not to be a run at 100%. And if it's not, That's
well, it's a scheduling thing too. I mean, you're in Fort Worth. You got the NCAA tournament there this weekend in Fort Worth. You got SMI promoting the race at COTA next week. I mean, that's another flaw. You're running, back-to-back weekends of major racing in the area. I mean, yeah, I know it's a huge metropolitan area, but it just doesn't make sense to do stuff on top of each other, and that's kind of where they're at. This race isn't a traditional date. This race was always in June, and now you moved it all the way back to March. Should be better weather there because it's not as hot, but obviously the people, we'll see how many people show up today for that, but the tweets I'm reading, it doesn't look good.
By the way, that IndyCar race is 11:45 at Texas today, so you will be able to watch it in the event you would like to before the Cup race, which starts at 2:17 Central Time today. So, and Chase Briscoe, fresh off his win last week at Phoenix, will be starting on the pole today. And after qualifying, was washed out. Every track activity was washed out on Friday. They got everything in yesterday, including a truck race, an Xfinity race, and practices. And good for them. They made the most of their time and put it all together. And we're glad to see it. All right, gentlemen, I tell you what, I was going to have you start thinking about who you're picking today at Atlanta. We'll do that after we do the results, which are coming up next. But remember, all the different factors today. I mean, they're going to have the double line low that you can't go underneath, just like on the old plate tracks at Daytona and Talladega. You're not going to be able to advance your position going under the double line today. So that's how fast this place is.
It's a plate track mentality or track mentality. I mean, you got to look at who does good on super speedway racing. I think it's the same kind of a strategy and setup we're going to have today at Atlanta.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
They painted a red line in between the white line.
Just so you know what it's for. We'll be back.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Elkhart Lakes Road America this 4th of July weekend. The NASCAR Quick Trip 250, presented by Jockey Made in America, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series Henry 180 guarantees high-speed thrill and endless family fun. Enjoy the family fun zone, camping on site, and free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
This, keep it on the down low here, is the Dan Patrick Show. Seattle, remember, Russ would say, hey, this is where I want to be. Pete Carroll says he's not going to be traded. One was going. And we found out that it was going to be Russ. And Seattle knew this, that if Denver didn't get Aaron Rodgers, then they could make this trade. That's why it happened so quick.
Dan Patrick.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Weekday mornings after 8 a.m. on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
dirt car world continues to battle the weather that March brings across the country this year, washing out several events across the country. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series was supposed to run Friday night in Chillicothe, Ohio. That event was pushed to today, so they're going to attempt to get that race underway later this afternoon. The weather doesn't look great, but that would be on Lucas Oil Racing TV if you want to, or MAV TV Plus, that is, later today. Friday night, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. The Williams Grove Speedway had their season opener for the 410 sprint cars. Sheboygan's own Scotty Thiel told all the way out there. Ran really well in his heat race, was set to start on the pole for the 410 sprint car feature. Had a mechanical failure right before the start, unfortunately. That relegated him to the pit area, so he could not run the feature. The 5,500 to win 410 sprint car feature winner was Justin Peck. They also ran the super late models there for 3,500 to win. Greg Satterley was your winner in that one. Mesquite, Texas, the Devil's Bowl Speedway, the Lucas Oil ASCS 360 sprint car series was there. Wayne Johnson, the former World of Outlaw follower, picked up the feature win there. Merced, California, the aforementioned World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series was out there. Carson Macedo picked up the win Friday night. Saturday, more weather issues. It rained in California. The World of Outlaws were supposed to run the Ocean Speedway. That one rained out. Lucas Oil Late Model Series was supposed to run the Indiana Icebreaker at Brownstown. That one was rained out and will not be rescheduled. Down in Beatrice, Nebraska, the IMCA Spring Nationals. That track was completely covered with snow Thursday night, like 4 inches of snow they had there. It melted off. They were able to race last night. Jordan Grabowski was your winner there. Beaver Dam's Brandon Schmidt towed down there. He finished 10th in the modified feature. Stock cars, Jordan Grabowski won that one as well. So he had a really good night. Down in Sonoya, Georgia, they had a 604 crate late model race. People are saying, why? Who cares? Landon Bagley was your winner. But Chase Elliott was in that race, and Chase Elliott finished second in a crate late model. He drove Bubba Pollard's crate late model. That track is owned by Bubba Pollard, and hopped in the car. And
there's only one place to find the most recognized brand in carpet, Stainmaster, and that's at Lowe's. Right now, get free basic installation with the purchase of Stainmaster carpet and pad, $4.99 or more. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Install available in-store only. Requires non-refundable site assessment fee. Fee is credited to final project price if bought through Lowe's. More charges may apply. Not available in all areas. See Lowe's.com for details, exclusions, and licensure. Valid 2/19 through 4/13. U.S. only.
ran from mid-pack and finished second. So congratulations to him. That's a good run for Chase, who I don't think he has much Super Dirt late model racing experience. Ringgold, Georgia, the Boyd Speedway, the Ultimate Super Late Model Series, the Shamrock 5,000 to win feature winner, Ricky Weiss. It's been several years since Ricky Weiss has actually won a feature, so that had to feel really good for him to pick up his first feature win in some time. Night number 2 in Mesquite, Texas for the Lucas Oil ASCS 360 Sprint Cars. Seth Bergman was your winner there. And finally, last night in Lincoln, Pennsylvania, the 410 Sprint Cars were there. Scotty Thiel towed out there as well. It was a really fast car, but they have a crazy lineup procedure in that particular track where if you have not raced there before, you have to start at the back all night long, no matter how fast you are. Well, he made his way up to one spot out of a transfer spot in the B main and was unable to transfer. So unfortunately, he did not make the show. But Brett Marks, another guy who used to follow the World of Outlaws, he picked up the feature win there last night. That is everything for this week.
All right. And in the world of asphalt racing, which is pretty limited yet this time of year, March is not a real popular month to get it going. The Rattler was last week down in Alabama, and for the 5th time, Ty Majeski wore the snake after the race. Dan, I think it was his 3rd straight, wasn't it?
I think so. He's kind of got that event figured out, and pretty cool to see. And I think that was that Toby Card Chassis 001?
Yes, it was.
Yep, that's the one that we heard about. Not the first time he raced it, but the first time he won with it, and that's pretty awesome. So congratulations to Ty, still remaining the #1 short track guy in the United States of America. Yesterday, they ran a super late race, the Easter Bunny race down at Hickory, and William Byron won it. Imagine that on Saturday. So congratulations to William Byron for that win. And
they ran at that Caraway Speedway, the Cars Tour. They had the late model stock and the pro late models. Luke Fenhouse was down there. He finished 2nd. He led a bunch of that race.
He won. He led like 90 laps, right?
Right. Finished 2nd, and then and it was a Caden Quapple that won the pro late model race, and Carson Quapple won the late model stock race. So the Wisconsin contingent swept that event down there.
Imagine that. And of course, that's a junior motorsports car, right? That Carson's driving for?
Right, for the late model stock portion of that. And I don't know if you saw on Fenhouse's schedule, they added a race. They're going to be at the Slinger Opener on April 25th.
coming up in a hurry. 24th. Dan.
24th, April 24th.
Yeah, imagine that. And by the way, speaking of Slinger, it was announced this week that there's going to be the races are going to be televised on Racing America, the old Speed 51. Dan, you're going to be on the big show all year long with your televised events. So,
but I mean, there's a lot going on there, and especially the season this year, the way it's spread out with the different events, is it should be a fun time, and it's a pretty big platform to be on, and we're all excited and looking forward to it.
Well, briefly, I see that this week remember the old American Speed Association, ASA? Well, the ASA name was trademarked by NASCAR. I'm trying to figure out what would be the motivation behind that. Maybe NASCAR is going to come up with a short track series with super late models of their own to travel the country. Or maybe there's another reason, Dan.
Well, I mean, it's what's kind of missing, I think. If you look at the way they used to be, that you ran your regular tracks, you moved to the ASA series, learn how to travel, and you kind of honed your skills there. Then you can move up to the NASCAR part. That ASA section has been missing for a while, and they've been talking about doing a national super late model series. That's been in the talks for a couple of years now. I know the CRA is trying to do it, and a bunch of other people. Maybe if they do that, the logical name would be ASA, American Speed Association. And if that does come, well, now NASCAR owns the name. If you want to do something like that, you have to pay NASCAR for it.
And that back in the day was because at that time, the ASA name was becoming a threat with the family that owned it of competing against NASCAR.
And NASCAR doesn't like any kind of competition whatsoever, so they just buy it and be done with it.
That's what they did with ARCA, right? They just bought it.
They can do that, that's for sure.
ARCA was always NASCAR, right from the very beginning.
Remember, I used to have 2 ASA races at the mile, and then they had the NASCAR. They ran one in like Mother's Day weekend, and they ran one in like July or August. And then when NASCAR came around, that first ASA race wasn't there anymore because I thought NASCAR wanted to be the first stock car event at the track or something like that. There was some kind of talk about that's why we couldn't have 2 ASA races.
Robbins was the name of the family.
As we head for break, I would just like to say happy birthday to my son David. We are 20 years apart, and he is having his 50th birthday today. Happy birthday, Dave. We'll be right back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Elkhart Lakes Road America this 4th of July weekend. The NASCAR Quick Trip 250, presented by Jockey Made in America, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series Henry 180 guarantees high-speed thrill and endless family fun. Enjoy the family fun zone, camping on site, and free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years, PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
This,
keep it on the down low here,
is the Dan Patrick Show.
Oh, did you see where Antonio Brown and Kanye West they would like to team up to buy the Denver Broncos. But I think they said, or Kanye said, that, the white owners wouldn't allow us to buy the Broncos. I think the reason why they wouldn't allow you is because you're crazy, Kanye.
Dan Patrick. The Dan Patrick Show.
Weekday mornings after 8 a.m. on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back to LTN on this beautiful Sunday morning. Marcus Smith, he's the guy in charge of Speedway Motorsports. You know, they're the ones that own so many racetracks, Bristol, Charlotte. They don't call it Infineon anymore, do they?
Sonoma,
and New Hampshire, Texas. Yeah, major players. Marcus Smith said this week when he was asked about North Wilkesboro, you remember there supposedly is $18 million earmarked to upgrade that goofy little racetrack in the middle of nowhere. Yes, the racing there is good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's a goofy little racetrack in the middle of nowhere, and they're going to put $18 million into it. And what he said, his quote was, "I don't see the Cup Series coming here." Well, that's because no one really cares about the greater North Wilkesboro metropolitan area. Possibly trucks, which is, if I remember right, guys, what we said right in the beginning, the best they could ever hope for there would be a truck date. And, that's, even he admitted it. The thought, though, is $18 million for a truck date? Really?
He's quoted as saying, if somehow, some way we could have a larger touring series like the Truck Series, it would be beyond the expectations, I think, of everybody involved. So he's not even expecting to have a Truck Series race there. So, yeah, what are you spending $18 million on if you're not going to do anything there?
You can't convince me there isn't a better way of spending that money. I'm sorry.
Remember, Nashville is still floating around out there, too.
Yeah, that's a fact. Mm-hmm. In happy hour, Ricky Stenhouse was fastest for today's race at Atlanta. Stenhouse supposedly is a good sleeper pick for today. Who knows? Kyle Busch was second fastest. Christopher Bell was third. Harrison Burton, who's been, kind of up and down, mostly down so far, was fourth fastest in happy hour.
He's going to the back.
And Joey Logano fifth. Burton?
Yeah, he's the one guy that failed inspection more than twice. So he's got to go.
He was going to start 31st, so he only has to back up a few spots.
God.
How about Cody Ware? Cody Ware is 10th on the chart.
Yeah, well, practice laps and racing is two different things, too. The best 10-lap average, Denny Hamlin. So if you're looking to fill out your fantasy leagues. By the way, our picks are not good here. How are we doing in fantasy, Ed?
Oh, it's really well attended this year. We got like over 65 players this year. It's a new record.
Ed's doing good.
Ed's doing good, huh?
Yeah, we're not doing so well. I'm not doing so well.
All right. Well, I can tell you one thing. We're not real good at picking winners on this program.
That's right. I told Brian to pick Chase Briscoe last week and he didn't listen to me. He's Harvard.
Yeah.
Well, I won with him. On my fantasy league, I won with him.
Yeah, well, just like last week, Ed, you and I both picked Reddick. I'm taking him today because it's his time. This is a perfect track for him, and it's Reddick time, the 8 car. Ed, who are you taking today?
Michael McDowell.
Excuse me, wait a minute. My mic doesn't seem to, my earphones can't be working too well. Did you say Michael McDowell?
Yeah.
Oh, Dan?
Last time Ed picked a front row car, we didn't out of nowhere it won the race at Talladega that time. Remember that? Right. I'm gonna go with Joey Logano though.
Seems safe. Brian, I know. I'm already gonna guess Brian. 18, right?
No, I'm going with Joey Logano too, and the logic there is, when you go to new places, he seems to be the guy to show up. They put dirt on Bristol, he went out and won that race. We go to the Coliseum, something goofy, he goes out and wins that race. Now we're going to a new reconfigured Atlanta, completely different type of racing than what we're always accustomed to. He's going to go out and win that race. And also, when you pick the guy, usually then he has a bad day, so that'd be also why I'm picking him.
Yeah, that's good. He's not a bad announcer. I would say he laughs a little too much, But that's not really. I mean, I do think he's pretty insightful, and not just that, but a guy when he's out of the car and he's almost likable. When he gets in the car and you want to just scream at him, but it turns out the guy's a winner, right? I mean, you can't take that away.
Him and Brad were really good in the booth, and Brad Keselowski just has his way of talking to people. Like, he said something like, what do you think about that, Joseph? And Joey goes around, good pickup there, Bradley. You could tell they're ripping on each other back and forth. It's kind of they do a good job at that, I think.
It is. And also, I mean, I think that Ryan Blaney does a pretty good job in there too. He was PO'd because they didn't have his picture up on the promos for the races. They got Bubba on there and they got Hamlin on there, but they didn't have Blaney. So I think that had something. He gave him an ultimatum to put him on there, or he was going to quit. That's pretty funny. Hey, thanks for tuning into the program. We appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun this afternoon watching Atlanta and the new cars. So make sure you keep an eye out for it. And thanks for tuning into the program. We do appreciate that. For all of us involved with the program, as you know, there's one thing we'd like you to take away from this program. Real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our in-house engineer, website coordinator, and overall king of the knobs is Matt Hangover Losi. For all of us, we love you. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.
There's only one place to find the most recognized brand in carpet, Stainmaster, and that's at Lowe's. Right now, get free basic installation with the purchase of Stainmaster carpet and pad, $4.99 or more. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Install available in-store only. Requires non-refundable site assessment fee. Fee is credited to final project price if bought through Lowe's. More charges may apply. Not available in all areas. See Lowe's.com for details, exclusions, and licensure. Valid 2/19 through 4/13. U.S. only.